going. Got all right. Ashalam. This is the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana. Today's class is the scripture breakdown class held by myself, Captain Parasha, over the UK. We've got a brother from the Netherlands online as well, man. You know what I mean? So with UPK, we're international, man. North America, South America, England, and Europe, man. You know what I mean? ISUPK is everywhere, man. But with that being said, this is the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true biblical Israelites.
That's right.
The people that you read about in that book, they have descendants that are alive today, man. And those descendants are you, black man, you, Hispanic man, and you, Native Indian man. For those of you that are new to class, we do have a school in the UK. The address is 394 Lodge Road. Postcode is B18 5PW, and the school is in the city of Birmingham. So if you're in Birmingham, come through, man. You know what I mean? If you're in England, but you're probably in London, Manchester, or wherever, you can watch online. Facebook page, ISUPK United Kingdom. YouTube page, ISUPK United Kingdom as well. And also we have the Google My Business, so you can check us out on that. And also with that, you get the directions. If you want to get here by car, bus, or even by foot and the train, you can also use that as well. So from this school, we teach 3 classes 3 times out of the week, and the other classes are online. So Monday 7 until 9, you have the one-day history class done by Officer of 5,000 Karapia. Then Wednesday at the same time, you got the law class done by Officer of 5,000 Dunbar. Then right now you got the scripture breakdown class. Then also these classes are from the UK, but they're not online. So you got the Tuesday Brotherhood class done by either Officer 50 to Zapawan or Officer 50 to Awaban. You mean? Then on Friday, by Officer 5,000 Shamgar from London, you have the language class. So that's what we got going on in the UK. So with this being the scripture breakdown class, if you have a scripture you need broken down, this is where you ask. So if there is a precept you don't understand or you have any questions, this is where you ask, right? Alright, so with that being said, has anyone got any questions? Can be online or in the class.
Kind of, I can't say. I do have a quick one, if I could.
Yep.
If I could request a breakdown of it's in Proverbs chapter 22, and from 12 down to 14. So get it.
Alright, so what was that again? Proverbs 22 and 12 down to 14.
Can't.
Right, let's get it.
Book of Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 12. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor.
Okay, so let's break down verse 12. So the eyes of the Lord perceive a knowledge. So now, what does that part mean? If you know,
preserve. So the eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge.
Yes.
Let's see. So is it that he looks over the righteous and he's preserving he's preserving his people that follow him, his servants. So he's preserving knowledge in that way. Like his eyes.
No. Okay. the next part of the verse, it might help. So we read that part, and he overthroweth
So
the words of the transgressors. You again now?
I might have. Is it that he preserves knowledge, so he won't ever let the knowledge of the Bible like cease to exist? Like there'll always be some sort of history and archaeology, some things that you can trace back, so we understand that the Bible is a true book and it's like actual historical book, and there's ways that the truth will always remain in the earth.
All right, that's good, but it's not this okay. Basically, meaning the eyes of the Lord, it keeps everything. Meaning the Lord doesn't forget. It
Right,
preserves. To preserve something is to what? It keep it alive. Like in food, the preservatives what basically makes the food last longer.
Right.
So now the eyes of the Lord, He preserves what you do, man. You know what I mean? All what you do, all what you say it is kept. That's why the second part says, and He overthroweth the words of the aggressor. Why? Because He remembers what you said, man. The Lord remembered that nonsense you was talking about. God ain't real. There's no such thing as God. I remember He keeps it, man. He records it, and one day He's gonna make you eat those words, man. Because of what you said, that's the reason why the Lord will go against you, man. What do so many people say now? You believe in God. That is a old thing that mankind used to do. You mean mankind thousands of years ago, they had to believe in a God that they could not see. But now we know that God does not exist. And now what? God preserves that, man. He keeps that same God. He overthrows, man. You know what I mean? If you think you're God, why can't you stop the monkeypox, man? Why can't you stop COVID-19? Right now, the price for a diesel and a petrol is ridiculous. Why can't you fix it? Because you're not God, man. Although it's something you say, the Lord preserves it, man. He keeps that same, what you think is wise, is wisdom. The Lord goes, okay, I'm going to set up a time where I'm going to remind you about what you said, man.
Right.
So now that's on one level. What is another level, man? You got people out there selling weed, selling crack, and they think they're never going to get locked up. But there's a God in heaven, He preserves those words, man. That and knowledge that you think you got, what you think makes you wise, the Lord goes against it, man. There's a God in heaven that it's His job to prove you wrong. And when He feels like He will do it, man. Read on.
Khan. And He overthroweth the words of the transgressor.
Uh-huh.
The slothful man saith, there is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets.
All right, so now this is another part. The slothful man saith, there is a lion without. So the word without, that's Old English. It means outside. So meaning a man that is lazy, he always finds the reason why he should not do it. So what if there's a lion outside? Find out how to get around that lion, man. Find out to put a trap for that lion. You mean find a way to get around the obstacle. Don't just see the lion. Listen, there's a lion outside. I can't do nothing. I would have done it, but there's a lion outside me. Meaning you're always looking for a reason not to do what you're supposed to do. The opposite.
There's long like even the truth. Like people got 1,000 reasons why they shouldn't be the truth. My work, my this, my that. You know what I mean? I got slavery, my work, my children. Like the parable story, the one that people made excuses.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible says it's not good enough. Like it's mad in the world, the excuses are good enough. Everyone go, yeah, but it's slavery. But you can't lose a job in the Bible, it's just not good enough. Like I think it's the parable where it's one talked about getting married and something like that.
That's land here. In the book of Luke. So a precept to go with this, it will be in the book of Luke where these men were invited to a wedding, and all of them made an excuse. I've just got a wife. I just brought some land. And what's the other one? I brought 5 yoke of ox. I've got to try them out. Meaning what? Before they came to the feast, all of them were so busy, had something to do instead of getting to that damn feast, man. They had every reason to not be there. And this is a more direct verse. Someone who's lazy always finds a way not to do it, man. There's a lion outside. Listen, man, buy a sword, kill that lion, man. Get around the lion, walk around the mountains, man. You know what I mean? Do something. Don't make an excuse, there's a lion outside. Or, you know what I mean? What's the famous one? I would come to camp, but my car's not working. There's a coach. There's the bus, man. Come on, you catch a coach. Listen, I will pick you up, man. You just come to Birmingham and leave the rest to me, man. But what did they say? There's a lion outside. There's an obstacle in the way. I would do it. I really would. I really want to come to camp. I really do. But then the lion, you don't fight it, man. You don't find a way to get around it. You don't find a way to get here and do what you're supposed to do, man. And that's the point of this precept right here. Reader.
The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein.
Okay, so now it's going to something else. The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. Meaning what? You can get trapped, man. You know what I mean? But by what she says, if the Lord ain't with you, that's why the second part goes, he that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein. Meaning a woman's mouth can get you trapped, man. You know what I mean? There's some men that don't, man. All a woman has to say is, you're handsome, man. It's a rap, man. He's never leaving her. You know what I mean? Oh, you look cute. And this idiot's like, yeah, but do you know? Yeah, man, I know. And then guess what? She's playing you, man. She's taking all your money. You're like, yeah, but she thinks I'm cute. She wants to be with me forever. And then, you know what I mean? You're giving her all your money. You know what I mean? You're working overtime just so that she can go to the hair shop on the weekend, man. If you're hated by the Lord, her words, which is that deep ditch, it's going to get you, man.
That's right.
And you can't get out of that. Well, I love her. Look, man, you're in debt. Yeah, but she loves me though, man. I mean, she makes me smile. Like, you know what I mean? And guess what? She's playing you. When she tells you, I love you, she doesn't. You mean she's that to every man, and guess what? Those that are hated by the Lord, that will work on you, man. While as if you are loved by the Lord, it won't work on you. You'll go, yeah, whatever, man. You probably said that to some man yesterday. You're saying it to me now, but there was a man yesterday, and you said the same thing, man. The only thing is the Lord is with me, and the Lord isn't with that man, man. I've got the common sense to go chatting rubbish, man. While as him, he believes it, man. She loves me, and then he's actually a cash point taking out £100 out of his account, you know, and the money's doing the machine, and you hear the money rolling over. He's the idiot doing it. Why? Because he's in that deep ditch. The Lord loves you. He gives you the common sense to know, listen, she's a liar. She said that to every man, hoping that she'll what? Trap that man. But you serve the Lord loves you, you don't fall for that. Which is the point.
Sorry, if I could.
Yeah.
The strange woman here, is that just referring to women of other nations?
No. So, okay, it can be a woman of another nation, or one of us who serve a strange God, one of us who's not of us, meaning they are Israelite by blood, but they're not in here. They're strange. They're in the mosque. They're in the church. They're in the world. You know what I mean? And of course, in the world, if you're not in here, you care about yourself. And that's the kind of woman that the Bible is on about. She cares about herself. That's why she tells you what you want to hear. I mean, she knows you're not handsome, but listen, she knows that what? By her saying that to you, that Valvan, I'm not saying you, by the way. It's a figure of speech, right?
Correct.
You know what I mean? But I mean, she knows whatever she has to say to you, so that you're wrapped around her. She's gonna say it, man. Why is that? You can always keep paying her every week. You get paid, so that she just ring you and go, "I need my hair done again." Oh, really? You know what I mean? I love you. Okay, yeah, man. I'm gonna send the money through what's the thing? Some online banking.
Right.
She, you know what I mean, she knows that works. Why? Because she cares about herself, and she's gonna do whatever it takes to get what she wants, which is the point.
Correct.
I got you. Any more on that? Or
That was it. I'm not.
all right, ain't no sweat. All right, let's get Matthew 13, Matthew 13 and 1. So, going to get into a parable about the truth and some of the reasons why people leave the truth. And what you're going to realize is what is written here is so relevant. And in these last days, with what is going on and what has been going on, you got to fight every demon, man. You got to fight anything that is going to bring you back in the world, man. So let's get Matthew 13 and 1.
The book of Matthew, chapter 13, and verse 1. The same day went Jesus out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore.
Okay, so now with Christ, he's got a following right now. There's many people that are backing him. There's many people that are behind this man. So much he had to go on a ship so that he could preach to all of them. I mean, there was no microphone back then. There was no dictaphone and those things. So he's on a ship, yelling to this multitude of people that believe that he is the Christ. He is the chosen one of the Lord, man. Read up.
And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up.
All right, so now with this multitude, he spoke a parable unto them. So now let's analyze it. So imagine you're a gardener and you got a bag with seeds, man. Now what do? Just plant the seeds. As you're walking on this land, you got the bag in hand and you're seed throwing. Now, of course, seeds go everywhere. So now the first one is what? When he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, meaning some seeds, it didn't go where they was meant to go. They went by the wayside. You mean they went on the road? They went on the pavement. I mean, some seeds went there, and the fowls came and devoured them up. So that's one instance while this man had his bag of seeds and he was throwing them around. Read on.
Another one. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth.
Read on.
And forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness of earth.
All right, so now he's giving another example. Some of the seeds were in stony places where they had not much earth. So what's he talking about? Have you ever seen like some places you have the earth, but you got the concrete as well? Meaning, there is some dirt there, but it's not enough to really grow a plant. That's the example that he's giving right here. So that's another example.
So that's a person like that.
It is a person, but it's a parable. So he's using that analogy, but really he's using that to represent something else. You know what I mean? Read on.
Another one. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away.
And guess what? That is what literally happens. Because there's not enough dirt there, there's not enough roots. That plant, it does grow for a bit, but eventually it dies. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's not where it's meant to be. You know what I mean? So it's using gardening as an analogy. You know what I mean? But again, as we read on, it's gonna explain what this parable means. Read on.
And some fell among the thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit.
No sweat. I'll break down that one. So now there's some plants, they grow, but what? With the thorns around them, they prevent it. Meaning the plant wants to grow, but what happens? The thorns hinder it, man. And these are things that happen in everyday gardening. You know what I mean? It's nothing that no one don't know if you haven't, you know what I mean, looked into it. When you grow a plant, these are obstacles that you would face. Let's read on.
But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold.
So
Who had it?
I'll break it down. So now, this is the plant that you do want, the one that goes in the dirt where you want it to go, man. In that good ground, the ground that's, you know what I mean, healthy ground, man. So that that plant can grow like it's supposed to. And this is the one here. Read on.
Who have ears to hear, let him hear.
So now, that's how you know this means more than just gardening. Because he that have an ear, let him hear, meaning understand it, meaning it's not as simple as you think. It's not just Christ just talking about gardening. It's really more than that. That's why he's saying, he that have an ear, let him hear, meaning understand what I'm talking about. Read on.
And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables?
So now, remember, he's speaking to a multitude right here, and the disciples came to him like, Christ, why are you talking to them in parables? Like, you mean, since they're backing you, wouldn't it be easier just to talk to them direct? Don't you want them to get what you are talking about? But there's something the disciples did not understand about Christ. Read
on. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
And there you go, man. There's a reason why with Christ, he spoke in parables because he didn't want everyone to understand them. You know what I mean? What a lot of people don't understand is Jesus Christ didn't want everyone. And he spoke things in certain ways to keep people out. He just said it right here. Now listen, it's for you. It's for you to understand. But for everyone else, no, man. And that's why so many of us, we get upset with what your mom can't understand it, man.
That's right.
You're playing your mom in General Muhammad class, hoping, listen, man, if you can't listen to me, surely General Muhammad, you mean she will understand him, and your mom don't understand him either, man.
That's right.
Why? Because your mom is without, man. Your mom doesn't get the parables of Christ, man. There's people that are not meant to get this. And now, with Christ, he didn't want them to get it so bad, he didn't even talk to them directly. With Christ, he could have made it so easy. But what? He spoke in a parable to make sure they don't get it. And that's what you need to understand, man. So many of you hurt yourself trying to convince people. When don't convince them. With Christ, he didn't convince them, man. There was people he wanted them to know, and there was people that he didn't want them to know. And that's why don't wear yourself out, man. Don't burn yourself out make your mom understand John 3:16, man. Don't burn yourself out trying to make people understand certain understandings of the Bible. Because if they're without, there's nothing you can do, man. You know what I mean? You're gonna try it. You know what I mean? You're gonna ring me. Yes, sir. My mom, she don't understand this. Can you talk to her? No, man. I'm not talking to her. I'm really not. You know what I mean? You come to class, you know the breakdown. If she didn't hear it of you, why is she gonna hear it of me, man?
Right.
Why? Because she is without. Now it doesn't mean they'll be like that forever, but right now they don't get it, and there's nothing you can do. Read that.
Khan. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance.
Yeah, man. So meaning there's people that what the Lord gave him this, and listen, you're gonna have more, man. You got a little understanding now. You keep serving the Lord, you're gonna have it in abundance. Reader.
Khan. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that he hath.
And imagine that, man. Even someone that has a piece of the understanding of God, God's even gonna take that away, man.
Right.
I mean, if the Lord don't want you, even what you got, He'll even take that, man. If you're in the world and you read about the Jews being black, the Lord's even gonna take that from you as well, man. Even that little bit you got, if the Lord don't want you to have it, you ain't having it, man. And listen, that is up to the Lord. So, I mean, so don't burn yourself out trying to convince your mother, trying to convince your dad. Listen, man, you got it. Run with it, man. The understanding was handed to you. Listen, run for it, man.
That's right.
You can't go backwards trying to convince people that ain't getting it, man. Read up.
Right. Khan. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not,
Mm-hmm.
and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand.
Yeah. So now with Christ, he's explaining, I speak in a parable. Why? Because they see, but they don't see. Meaning what? You know what I mean? On a carnal level, you can see the red light, the green light, but you can't see the truth, man. And you can't tell me we are not the Israelites, because this is us. Black people, we can see, but the truth we cannot see, man. Let me tell you something. Years ago, I was speaking to a brother, and I said, "Don't you think England is racist?" No, man. I don't see that. I think in England they like us, man. Look, they act like us. They want to be like us. I'm saying, listen, you're telling me England likes us, and he could not see, man. Why? Because this is what Isaiah said. You mean what we're reading right here? Isaiah spoke about this day, that we will be a people we will see, but at the same time we will see not, man. Meaning you can't see the truth. You can't see what's going on around you. Even though you can see, you can't see the truth, man. That's all.
So you're right there. Did Christ just pull a precept like what we did today?
Absolutely.
There and then. All right.
Absolutely. And it's going to say, and to hear, you can hear, but you don't hear the word of God, man. So many people talk about, man, black power, black liberation. But when it comes to this, all of a sudden, not that though. You got rastas, you know what I mean? Us as black people, we need to be free. Yeah, well, the weed has to get dashed down. Nah, man. The Bible tampered with. You hear, but you hear not, man. You hear, but when it comes to hearing this, all of a sudden they can't hear, man. Read that.
And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Esaias, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear and not understand, and seeing ye shall see and shall not perceive.
There you go. So if you go to Isaiah 6, you will find that a precept right there. And that's talking about who the nation of Israel, man. We are people without understanding. Now the next verse is going to explain why many people don't understand. Read that.
For this people's heart is waxed gross,
And that's why
and
people don't hear, because the heart is wax gross. What does that word mean, lusty? Meaning what? Your mind is all about what you want to do. That's why you can't hear it. Because really, it goes against what you want to do. And you'll meet many people like that, man. It's like they can only serve a God that just happens to like what they like.
Right.
You like weed, well, Haile Selassie, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's a phrase say? The half has been untold. You know what I mean? Why? Isn't it weird that rappers get higher and you like to get higher? You happen just to find that root. Why? Because your heart is gross, man. Your heart has waxed gross. In the church, being a hypocrite is normal. In the church, it's normal. It's a natural thing to basically talk about God and to never do any of it. And what to do, you just found yourself in the church, right? Why? Because you serve a God that caters to you. You serve a God that, if you can accept it, if that's what you like, that's where you're going to be. While in the UPK, we serve a God that is against us, man. We serve a God that hates the things that we would want to do, and we do what He wants us to do, man. Why? Because we serve the living God. You serve yourself, which is really what it's all about. And that's why people can't hear this, because they can't serve a God that is against them, but they have to obey. So what? They find something that they like. They find something that suits them and they can do what they like, and it's not a bad thing. And that's why they can't hear, because their heart is waxed gross. Meaning what? It's all about them. And with worshiping you, you can't worship the Lord. Read up.
Another one can't. And their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes.
No sweat. And their ears are dull of hearing. If you look at that word, dull, it means shut. Why are their ears shut? Because if they listen to what you're gonna say and they accept it, they will have to change. But their heart is gross. They're like, listen, I'm not listening. It sounds good, but I'll have to look into it. You know what that means, innit? Then they're not listening. Yeah, man, I'm gonna look into that. Listen, just take it as you wasted your time. He or she is not looking into it, man. That sounds deep, man. Yeah, man. You know what? I'm gonna research that. He's not researching. You know what I mean? His ears are dull of hearing. They don't want to hear it. Reader.
Another one can't. And their eyes have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them.
And there you go, man. Meaning what? The Lord, He allows their hearts, their ears, and minds to be shut. Why? Because if they wasn't shut, they could get healed, man. They could they could receive it, but the Lord doesn't want them to. Because of their lust in them, the Lord just makes them sedate in that way, man. Otherwise, with Christ, He could heal them, man. If they really did understand, they would have been with Christ. But the Lord just didn't want them. Read on.
But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
And let me tell you something. Every day you wake up, you better be thankful that you're in the UPK.
That's right.
Because blessed are your ears that they hear. Meaning you heard this, you go, that is the truth, man. Why? Because this gets rejected so much. And for you to be here, it's a blessing, man. For you to see this, it's a blessing. And even with Christ, to the men that He had at that time, He's telling them, you're blessed that you see this and you hear this, because there's many people, they would serve themselves and not hear this. But you're blessed that you actually hear this and you do it, man. Read up.
Okay. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them.
So what is Christ talking about here? In the book of Isaiah, with Isaiah, he spoke about the Christ, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah. And listen, those men are with Christ. They're seeing things that the prophets wish they could have seen. They're with Christ, and he's breaking things down to them. They wish that they could have heard those things, man. You know what I mean? They was in a great point of time. Read on.
Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower.
Okay, so now a parable about the seeds that went on the wayside, the seeds that went among the thorns. Now Christ is going to break it down. Remember what he said? He that have a ear to let him hear. Now it's going to break down what that parable meant. Read on.
Okay. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh to the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside.
So now remember, the first one was the seed that went by the wayside. He's explaining what that is. So the seed by the wayside, meaning if someone that heard the word now, what's the word? That seed, man. You mean it's planted in your mind and what? It either grows or it doesn't grow, man. So now the seed by the wayside is what? Someone that doesn't understand it. So let's give an example. You're at camp, they can see the signs, you know what I mean? But they don't understand it. So Christ black, you know what I mean? The guy in the microphone yelling. All right now, I don't understand it. And then what? Then comes the what was that again? Then comes
the wicked one.
Then comes the wicked one, man. Who's that wicked one? That hater at camp, man. He doesn't understand, you know, the signs, a 12 tribe chart, Negroes, you know what I mean? He don't understand it, and then what? Someone comes, they're racist. Don't listen to them. And then what? That wicked one takes away that which was sown in his heart. I mean, it was in his mind like, I don't get it, but I'll hang around. Then some wicked person goes, don't listen to that. They're racist, man. In the Bible, God loves everyone, and what he walks up, man. That is the seed by the wayside. That's the seed that it didn't even have a chance to grow yet, man. Why? It was almost about to grow, but what? The wicked one stopped it, man.
That's right.
That hater at camps, like, they're racist. You mean, come on, you really believe that? Come on. You know what I mean? What?
Right.
That wicked one took that seed up him, man, before it even grew. I'll give you another one. You're on the internet watching us, and then your mom comes, yeah, son, you know, come on, you gotta be careful what you're watching online. You know what I mean? You gotta be careful, man. On the internet, there's so many things. Be careful, son. I love you, and what? You log off the online class, man.
Right.
That's the wicked one taking that which was sold in your mind, man. You got a dad that's a Rasta, like, your dad don't go from the Israelite. Listen, man, it's about Ethiopia, son, man. Look, man, you know what I mean? Are you gonna join them? Are you gonna be a part of them? Well, you can be with me, man. You know what I mean? Listen, man, you know what I mean? I'm a Rasta, you know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? This is the dumbest thing. Listen, man, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin. You're from the tribe of Levi, man. You're man, that's already, you know what I mean? Because with Rasta, they believe, all right, a Rasta believes that you know what I mean, from depending on when you're born, that's what the tribe you're from. He's like, look, son, man, I'm a Jew, that man. Yo, Benjamin, look, man, Israelites already. And what?
Good jacket.
Your father's the wicked one that what? Took that which was in your mind, man. Meaning,
Right.
before you even had a chance, someone diverted you. He goes, nah, you know what? You go this way, man.
I think Jim Muhammad's dad told him, "Oh, I didn't have you down as a follower because he felt so low."
It happens, man. It happens. And listen, man, you know what I mean? You have to fight it. Or you'll be living what we are reading right now.
Right. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receive it.
All right, so let's break it down. So now in the parable, there was the other part where the seed fell up in Sidoni places. So now it's breaking down what it represents. So it's someone that received the word and anon with joy. So now what does anon mean immediately? Meaning he receives it and he's loving it, man. He or she, they're happy, man. Like, bro, with the Israelites, I knew it. I knew there was something about us, man. They're happy to receive it, but it doesn't stop there, man. Reader.
Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while.
And that's the problem. Even though he's happy now, he doesn't have no root in himself. They're happy to know who they are, but what? They don't come to class, man.
That's right.
They don't know how to defend it. You know what I mean? They don't know where to find a book in the Bible, man. You hand them a Bible, listen, find me the book of Revelations, they wouldn't know where to find it, man. And for those who don't know, the book of Revelation is the last book of the Bible, and they wouldn't even know that, man. In the Bible, in Genesis, and then they're looking on the index, you know. Looking Genesis, like it's the first book in the Bible, man. You know what I mean? Someone like that has no root in himself. They're happy to know, you know what I mean? We are the people of God, but they got no root in themselves. They're not, they haven't actually dug themselves into this. There's people that just like to hear it, and something happens with someone like that. Reader.
Let's see. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended.
And there you go. When you got no root in yourself, when a tribulation comes because of the word, meaning it's because of this, meaning there's people that don't like you because of this, because you got no root in yourself, by and by. What does the word by and by mean? Bit by bit, man. Meaning what? It doesn't leave one day. It happens gradually. At first, they're fighting on me. My mom's getting on my nerves. My dad thinks I'm mad. But bit by bit, it starts to break at them. Weeks go on. Months go on. It might even be a year. And that's what they're offended like. It's the truth, man. It's the UPKY I'm getting all this hate, man. You know what I mean? It's me at camp. That's why everyone hates me. And bit by bit, this word becomes an offense to them. They think the truth is the reason why their life is upside down. But the thing is, it's not the truth. It's you, man. It's you not having no root in yourself. Because if you had root in yourself, you would know that these things happen, man. You would know in the Bible, many men of God were hated. Many people thought they was mad. But because you got no root in yourself, you don't know these things, and you think it's us. You're blaming me for your mom not liking you. You know what I mean?
Right.
For those of you that don't know, in the UPK, we don't tell you not to talk or have a relationship with any family. You can be in the UPK and see your mom, see your dad, see your uncles, see your aunties. We don't hinder you, man. Well, guess what? People are going to hate you for you serving Yahweh Shai, man. You following the Most High.
That's right.
That's what is going to happen. But again, because they got no root in themselves, you know what I mean? The word becomes an offense to them.
Right.
What we do, what we teach, because they got no root in themselves, it starts to offend them. Like, it's because of you guys, man. But you know what I mean? Before this, when I had a beard on my face, my girlfriend loved me. Now I got the beard, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Every day we're arguing. She don't like the hair. She don't like the beard. And now this becomes an offense. The truth is now offending you. And all this happens, why? Because you ain't got any root anyway. You never read the Bible. You like that the Jews was black. You mean you received that with joy. That was nice. But you never really wanted to live this, man. And what's gonna happen? It starts to offend them, and they start to hate the brothers. They start to hate the school. Why? Because it's so offensive to them. You know what I mean? And what's funny is, if you had a root in yourself, you could defend it, man. When your mom don't like you, you go, well, listen, it's in the Bible. When your uncle speak you mad, it's in the Bible. But you got no roots. That's why you don't know these things. You know what I mean? You don't even come to class. You know what I mean? Whether it's online or in class, always got something to do. And that's why you got no root in yourself, man. That's why you don't have to answer nothing. Someone asks you something basic. Slack your other one. Can I have a breakdown on Genesis 101, please? Please, man. The person that asked me this, because you're not in class. Whereas if you was in class, you would have some root in yourself, man. Read up.
He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he become unfruitful.
So this is another one. So with this one, it got choked by the thorns. So what does this represent? The thorns represent what? The cares of the world, man. Meaning, if the cares of the world wasn't on his mind, this seed could actually grow. But what's on his mind? The cares of the world, man. I can't come to camp because, you see, my job on the weekend they pay us a pay and a half, and you know I've got bills to pay. Even though you work 5 days a week, you mean the cares of the world stop you from becoming a productive soldier, man. It hinders you because on your mind, I got this to do. I can't pay tithes because with that 10%, I'm saving up for a house and the mortgage. I need the 10%, and because of that, you become unproductive, man. Those are the thorns, meaning the cares of the world. The worldly things are what stopping you from growing, man. If I'm making sense to you, I'm just making sure. You know what I mean? And now, what is the key part in that? The deceitfulness of riches, man. In his mind, he believes he's meant to be rich. You know what I mean? He believes the UPK stopping me because really, in the eyes of God, I'm meant to be a millionaire, man. I'm meant to win the lottery. Right. You know what I mean? Because of camp, I didn't buy that lottery card, man. If it wasn't at camp, I would have been in the shop at the right time and brought the right card, man. And I would have won the lottery. The deceitfulness of riches, meaning by him believing he's meant to be rich, that's why he's not in the truth. That's why he's not productive. He's not in class. He or she is not in camp. Well, he's not in camp in this case because they're deceived into thinking they're going to be rich. Let me tell you something, man. One brother, he left the truth, and this is him, man. One day before camp, he looked miserable, like, yo, what happened, man? You know what I mean? I wanted to know. He's like, I lost some money. So I was like, what happened? Guess what the guy did, man? He was online doing stocks and bonds. Like, hey, you don't know what you're doing. He lost. Right. How much was it again? About 6 grand or something. Yeah, he invested 6 grand online into stocks and bonds and lost all of it. Like, you don't know about stocks and bonds, and that's the problem. Okay. You deceive yourself thinking you're going to be rich. Listen, man, I'm gonna educate you a little bit. When it comes to stocks and bonds, there are people that are educated in stocks and bonds. their life is the market. They go, okay, so we'll invest in this, we'll invest in that. You on your cheap laptop, you can't do what they do, man. That is their job. That's not your job. And that's why you lose $6,000. Because why? You're deceived in that you're gonna be rich. You believe, listen, man. I watched some videos on YouTube about seduction bonds. I'm gonna go in there and make some money, man. And what? You get hurt and you leave the truth. Why? Because you ain't got money. You ain't as rich as you thought you would be. Yeah, awesome.
It's deep because it says the deceitfulness of riches, meaning you're deceived. It's not true. Like people say, oh, since I come in the truth, I ain't got no money. Since I come in the truth, things are going bad for me. Implying that before the truth, everything's going great. like before the truth, you weren't on child support. Before the truth, police weren't stopping and frisking you and asking where you're going. Like as if before the truth, you was a millionaire, and now you're broke. You're broke anyway. It's all deceitfulness, thinking that this is holding me back. If I wait in here, I could be rich. You're gonna be broke nonetheless.
That's right. You know what I mean? That's what he said. People like to blame this when before you was in here, those problems you had, they was always there. You was behind on the rent in the world. You're behind on the rent in the truth. But now, for some reason, it becomes my fault because you're at camp. You know what I mean? When before you was here, you was behind on the rent anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? You find it hard to pay the electric bill years before you met me, man. So now don't blame the truth for what? You're deceived that you should be rich. See, if I was in teaching class, I'll be at work making more money. If I was in that class, my stocks and bond market, I'll be a millionaire, man. No, you wouldn't, man. You are deceived. It's not going to happen, man. It's not happening. You know what I mean? If I was in the UPK and I shaved the beard, you know what I mean? I could get a better job. No, you couldn't, man. You're a CV, even that same crap CV, man. Nothing would change about it, man. But for some reason, you lied to yourself that it's this, and you deceive yourself by what? Believing you are going to be rich. Crafty, what's the other brother from London? He left the truth.
Carl.
Oh man, you know what I mean? Even that, he thought he was gonna be rich. You know what I mean? Okay, now by law, with tithes, it is law. Listen, I don't care what you make, just give 10% to the priest of the Lord. Listen, It could be 10 pence, £10, £100. Listen, what you make, honestly, I couldn't care less. So I'll break it down. There was a brother in the school, he sold a house. And listen, 10% goes to the school. You know what I mean? I don't make the rules. It's a law in the Bible. Let me tell you something. This brother, he's a shy guy, a timid guy. When it comes to that money, he got a backbone. Usually, he's shy and timid. Listen,
Right.
you lot cannot get that money. It's an investment. Honestly, I'll invest the money first, and then you get more, and then I'll do it. And honestly, you can't. You pay 10% of what you earn. You know what I mean? And listen, this guy is timid and shy. I've got a witness right here. When it comes to that money, that demon left him, man. He got a backbone back. Now listen, I'm not doing it. No, listen, I'm gonna invest it. I got big business plans and this and that. He's deceived in thinking he's gonna be rich. He thinks now I got this money, you know what I mean? I'm gonna invest it and become some, you know what I mean, a businessman. And he's deceived. It's not gonna happen. But you know what I mean? That's what he wants to believe, then so be it. Ariella.
It's like the other one. So it's 10% more, 10% of more than just your wages.
Well, okay, so any increase, so not okay. I'll give you an example. It's an example I like to give. Just say, for example, you get paid every weekend, and of course, with that 10% it comes here, but the rest of your money you put in a account, and it's being it's just irrational. You don't have to give 10% of that because you already paid your tithes. So it's not literally everything. Just of any increase, that is it. So no one is saying you're gonna give 10% of your ISA account and things that you know what I mean. You already paid a tithes on. That's not it.
It's like an increase of what?
Of anything you see lost. Okay, if you and never had it and you got it, that's an increase. So for example, you go to work, you get an increase of wage for making sense. That is what it gives 10% of. So with this brother I'm mentioning right here, you know what I mean about the house. That house, it wasn't his dad's house, and then he sold the house. That is a increase because you know what I mean it wasn't his. It's not like it's something that was always his. He paid his tithes. Then that's different. He wouldn't have to because that's not an increase. If I'm making sense.
Car.
I just like the other. For example, not that I gamble, but what if one of us in the school go into the bookie shop and win 50 rack?
Then you better give 10% of that
That's
50
right.
rack. That is an increase.
Gambling money.
You never had it before, and you got it. That is an increase.
So it's been done before a lot of times.
Yeah, man. For those that don't know, Captain Parashi gambles, man. I'm in William Hill, bet 1, 2, 3. Listen, I win some, I lose some. I lose more than I win some, but you know what I mean? Anything I do make 10%, you know what I mean? I pay tithes, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you broke it down because I just thought it was wages.
Okay, well, we know now. You know what I mean? That happens. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Any increase, anything that is an increase. So if you was paying tithes and there's money that you invested in something else, that's not an increase because you already pay tithes. If I make sense. Okay, just say you got an ISA account, yeah. Now every week you put £100 in there, but at the same time, from your weekly wage, you pay your tithes. But though in the ISA account, you put £100 in there a week as well. You would never need to pay any tithes from the ISA account because you've already paid tithes. So now you mean that's not an increase because from the increase you had, you already gave 10%, and now you set £100 away in another account. That's not an increase. That's money that you saved up. That could be 100 grand. You will never need to pay tithes of that because it's not an increase. You already paid tithes of it already. If it makes sense.
Yeah, pyramid games.
Pyramid games.
Not too sure.
I'm not too sure about that.
No, so it's like if you make your wage and put money aside, you're nice.
Yes.
If someone gives you boom and money,
That's the increase.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are saving money and you pay tithes from your regular wage, that's not an increase. It's money that you save and you have already paid tithes. So then I mean that's not the increase. If I'm making sense, I'm not trying to lose anyone or trying to make
So what is that someone gives you? Someone's like a gift, pay tithe like that.
Absolutely, yeah. That is an increase. That's something that you never had, and it's increased onto you. That is an increase. You know what I mean? So nothing else. So now back to what I was talking about with the brother's dad. You know what I mean? He sold the house. That's an increase. He never had that. And listen, it's the law. And listen, man, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm gonna invest it. Listen, I got business plans and I'm gonna put here and there. And listen, I don't care what you do. But from that, you gotta pay tithes. Listen, I don't care what you want to do, but it's the law. You know what I mean? I would say to you, if you even had to pay £1, I would say the same thing. You know what I mean? And guess what? He left the truth. Why? Because he believed we're trying to take his money. We're trying to rob him. It's the law. And he's deceived that I'm gonna be rich. You mean you're not hindering me? You're not hindering me? You mean I'm gonna be a millionaire in 6 years' time, but when I invest this money, you know what I mean? And listen, he's deceiving himself because he's not going to be rich, man. There's gonna be another one of the people that get conned with the bitcoins and and all those things. There's gonna be another one of those, man. Ariella?
So, last question. I'm bogging it down a bit with this. So if you sell your car, it's an increase.
No, That's not an increase.
It's the same as your house.
No, okay. So in regards to a car, while you saved up for that car, would you pay them the tithes at the same time?
So like, yeah, yes, kind of other one, but while I was paying my mortgage, I was paying tithes at the same time, you know?
Yeah. There you go.
So when I
So
sell the house,
that's not an increase
Looks like
because okay, while you was paying it off, you was paying tithes. You was paying tithes as well. So that's not an increase. For example, now if your mom or dad they they gave you that house and then you sold that house, that's an increase. That's money that you never had. But
Right.
if you pay your tithes and paying the a mortgage, that's not an increase because you already pay tithes. That's not an increase. If everyone understands the line as well, I'm not
Oh,
trying to
yeah, sir. So,
confuse anyone. Yeah, go ahead.
So in that situation, obviously you've paid for the house. So if you sold it, that's not an increase. So you only, for example, need to pay tithes on like the profit that you've made, if you've made any profit. You've already. It's the same with the ISO account. It's like you say again, sir.
No, sorry, I said that if you say that one more time.
Come on. So for example, with the house, you've paid for that house, and say if you sold it and you made a better profit, you don't need to pay any tithes on that profit because it's similar to the ISO account where it's something that you've paid for and you've already paid tithes and the money that you've used to pay for it.
That's right.
Paying tithes twice.
There you go. You know what I mean? So I mean that example there. You know what I mean? If you understand that's the balance right there. Yeah. So now this brother, he was deceived by thinking he's gonna be rich.
Right.
I mean, he didn't want to pay the tithes, and he left the school over that one. You know what I mean? And with Christ, it spoke about it right here. Some people, the cares of the world get to them, and the deceitfulness of riches. They believe in their mind they're meant to be rich. They believe in their mind that they cannot go without. They believe in their mind that listen, I'm a millionaire in the waiting, and the truth is stopping that, man. If I pay tithes, you know what I mean? They're hindering my plan, man. They're hindering me being the next billionaire, man. And they deceived. It's not happening. They're not going to be rich. You know what I mean? Reader.
Verse 23. But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, some 30.
All right, so let's break it down. This is the seed that went on a good ground, and what he hears it and understands it, man. And in the truth, that's the first thing you need to do is hear and understand. Because if you don't understand, you are going to leave the truth, man. If you don't understand why your mom don't like you no more, you are going to leave the truth. If you don't understand that, you know what I mean, when you serve the Lord, listen, everyone's not rich. You know what I mean? If you don't understand it, you're going to leave the truth thinking, well, I'm not rich. So I got to leave the truth to make money, man. I can't show up to camp because I got money to make. You know what I mean? And I know it's about the Lord and the truth and all, but you know what I mean? There's bills that need to get paid, man.
Right.
You know, but there's someone who hears it and they understand it. And that's the person that remains. Then it goes, he bring in 100-fold, 70-fold, meaning what? While he grows, he brings in other people, man.
Right.
He's out there in camp. He's out there doing a class, finding new land for us to take, man. That's the person that, you know what I mean? He's bringing in fruit 100-fold, meaning some people bring in 150, meaning some people don't bring in as much as someone else. But the point being is they're producing, man. And that's the person that all of us want to be, man. You want to be productive. You don't want the cares of the world to hinder you. You don't want, things that, you know what I mean? The cares of the world to stop you from becoming a productive person inside here, man. Reader.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed
Okay.
tares.
Will, I mean, that's another one for another class. We get into that another time, right? All right, let's get my precepts out. All right, let's get First Corinthians. No, sorry about Ephesians 6 and 11.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, and verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God.
And there you go, man. So,
Okay.
no sweat. So now this is another analogy right here. It's like war, but now this time it's not a carnal war. With Paul is saying, put on the whole armor of God, man. Imagine in war, you can't wear some of the armor. I mean, what? Where the armor isn't, that's where you will get attacked. So even in here, you gotta put on the whole armor of God, man. Be righteous in every way. Do everything. Well, otherwise, if you don't, there's gonna be a weak point, man. Within a Viking, he doesn't put on armor that he just likes. He puts on the whole armor, man. He wants to be protected everywhere. And with Paul, he's saying the same thing, man. Put on the whole armor of God, meaning put it all on, man. You mean every law, every commandment, everything, put it all on. Because if you don't, you are gonna be vulnerable, man. And with Satan, he will get you. Why? Because you don't have the whole armor on. In what you lacking, that's where he will attack, man. Read up.
That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
There you go. You need the whole armor that you can withstand, meaning what? That you mean you can fight against the wiles of the devil. Meaning what? Why you being tempted? Why these things come in your mind? Because you have the whole armor, you can fight all of it, man. If you keep what you like, if you do what you want to do, you are, now there's a weak point in you, man. There's a point where with Satan, he's going to attack that because he knows you're not protected in that part there, man.
That's right.
Meaning what? The best thing to do is to have it all on so that you have a chance in this fight, man. Go ahead, officer.
Can't even in war today, like you pick it in, like even in UFC, man ain't good in the ground, you take it to the ground. You know what I mean? You say man ain't good in boxing. He's good in the ground, you boxing. But even in war as well, like if a man's navy ain't strong, that's what you go for. Or his air force ain't strong, you get him in the air, you get him in the place where they're not strong yet. That's why you need the whole armor on, because Satan's gonna get that part that ain't protected.
There you go. Where you lack, that's where Satan will attack, man. If you're lacking in one area, that's where he's gonna go because he knows you're not strong in that point. That's why you gotta put on the whole armor, man. Right. You gotta put it all on and go, listen, everything that I need to be to serve the Lord, that's what I've got to do, man. Because if I'm not doing that, I'm lacking, and guess what? I am vulnerable. I am easily to be persuaded. I'm going to be gullible, and that's what you don't want, man. You mean a reader?
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
There you go. That's how you know this analogy is not about a physical fight, because you wrestle not against flesh and blood. Meaning, this fight is not a physical fight. It's a fight over your mind, man. It's a fight over your mental. But even though it's that fight, put on the whole armor. It's better you protect yourself, even though it's not a physical fight. Protect yourself with this Bible, man. Protect yourself with everything in here. Protect yourself with the laws, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding. Make sure you are protected. Reader.
It's like here. But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
And there you go, man. You need the armor. Why? Because you are against principalities, man. Rulers of darkness, meaning what's in this world, the wicked rule, and you need that whole armor, man. The righteous don't rule, the wicked rule. So what? You gotta protect yourself, man. Even right now, all throughout the earth, what is being pushed? Wickedness, man. Darkness of this world. And that's why you need the armor, because the wicked are pushing darkness, man. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but that Beyonce song, is that a LGBT song?
I haven't heard it, heard about it, might hear it.
It might be, yeah, because you know what I mean. On the YouTube, one comment, someone said it was like, you know what I mean. So, you know what I mean. And think about it now, when you hear the song, don't get me wrong, it could be a positive song, but not that they mentioned that it could be for that too. And that's rulers of darkness, man. Cool. Meaning a singer who everyone loves or likes potentially could be pushing a pro LGBT song, man. That's rulers of darkness. And that's why you need that whole armor. Why? If you don't have that whole armor, what's gonna happen? Well, if Beyonce says it's fine, then guess what? I'm gonna join them, man. That's why you need that whole armor. That even though darkness rules, you can fight, man. You can withstand the wiles of the devil, man, in this earth. Read on.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
And there, man, spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Like what I said with the whole LGBT, that's wickedness in high places. I don't know if you're aware of this. Homosexuals are in high places, man. Homosexuals got all the money, you know what I mean, all the finances. That's why they're able to get away with so much. It's not because people feel sympathetic for them. It's because they're rich. All the homosexuals got all the money. All the bankers and the Sarches and the Fendis, these are rich people and they're all gay. The gays got all the money. That's why they're defended so much. Why? Because they're in high places, man, on this earth.
That's not care at all. 2,000 years ago, so the Pharisees.
Yeah, they was. There you go. So you can even use that as well. But the point being is, in this earth, wickedness rules, and you need to protect yourself. Otherwise, if you don't, the wickedness around you is going to overcome you. That's why you need a whole armor, which in its easiest form is the point of understanding this. Read on.
Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day.
And there you go.
And having
in that evil day, if you have on the whole armor of God, you can withstand, man. You can resist it if you have that whole armor. But if you don't, what? The world is going to get to you, man. The wickedness that is upon high is going to get in your mind. And you're going to go, them UPK guys, I think they're overreacting, man. It ain't that bad. You know what I mean? To smoke once it ain't the end of the world. You know what I mean? If you don't fight all the time, you're going to lose, man. If you don't protect yourself, you're not gonna last in that evil day, man. When that evil's around you and it's your time to fight, you are going to lose, man. Because you don't have on the whole armor. You got on bits and bobs and knee pad armor, you know what I mean? A bit on the chest, but your head's exposed, man. And that's why you got attacked. While this is saying, listen, put it all on, man. And make sure, listen, you can resist anything that is happening. Reader.
And having done all to stand.
And there you go. And having done all to stand, meaning what? When you stand at the end of all of it, meaning you done everything, man. That's the only way you're going to stand. If you do all, you can't do some, or you're going to fall, man. You can't do what you like, or you're not going to win it. To win this, you got to do all to stand. You got to do everything. That's the only way you're going to win. You can't pick what laws you like and things that you don't like, or you're going to fall, man.
Right.
To stand in that evil day, you need to do all of it, man. You need to keep every law. You gotta, you know what I mean, get your mind right. You know what I mean? Everything that God wants of you, do all that you can stand in that day. Reader.
Can't. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, on the breastplate of righteousness.
So, and that's how you know it's an analogy. There's no such thing as a breastplate of righteousness. So it's using the a body armor you would wear in the ancient time to the truth, meaning a breastplate of righteousness. Your loins girt, meaning the same way in war a man protects himself. You do that too, man. You protect yourself. So the time that this was written, this was written in the time of the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire had on some body armor, man. The Roman Empire had a breastplate that was solid, man. You could shoot an arrow at it, and the arrow would bounce off it. That's a fact. Roman body armor was no joke. And Paul's using their body armor as an analogy for righteousness, man. You gotta put on the whole armor that what you can withstand, that you can be the winner at the end of any test Satan puts at you. Reader.
Can't. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
And what does the word shod mean? It means protected. So what? You have some armor on your feet, man. Like what the ancient Romans had. They even had armor on their feet, man. What's the name for them? Greaves. That is body armor for your shins and your feet, man. So with Paul, he's using their body armor as an analogy for you keeping every law, man. Keeping everything of the Bible to protect yourself against Satan. Reader.
Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
So now again, going back to the Roman Empire, with these shields they had, they was big. You know what I mean? It was about the same size as them, and even that shield, you know what I mean? It had them iron a sheet in the middle of it, and that could deflect anything. Arrows would bounce off that shield, man. And with Paul is saying, with the shield you got, it's your faith. It's just believing, even though you haven't done it yet, man. You know what I mean? Let that be something that what protects you, man. Go, well, listen, I don't see it now, but I know it's going to happen, man. I know if I serve the Lord and I resist this, there's a kingdom coming, man, and I'm going to be a part of it. Let your faith be something that wards off everything, man. Reader.
And take the helmet of salvation and the. Sorry, did you say something?
Yeah. So the helmet, the Romans also wore a helmet as well, man. But what is a helmet? We wear salvation, man. Meaning what? In your mind, know that you will be saved, man. Know that all what you're doing now leads to salvation. You're not doing this in vain. There is a reward for what you do, man. Read up.
And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
Mm-hmm. And now that's why in the church, with the Bible, people call it the old sword. This is the verse where it originates from, where the word of God is a sword, because it says it right here. Meaning what? for you to attack in this war, let the Bible be that sword, man. Meaning when Satan is on your back, read it and what fight back, man. The Bible says, "Thou shalt not do this," so I can't do it. Let the Bible be that sword that what fights back, man. You want to do something wrong, go read the Bible, go, nah, it's sinning to do that. You know, according to the Bible, that is a sin if I commit that act.
That's right.
I can't do it. Let the sword be your instrument to fight back in this war, man.
Right.
Even if you feel like you want to do it, this will help you fight back.
Okay.
Like the Romans, their sword, what?
Okay.
It was to fight back. And likewise, let the word of God be your instrument to fight back in this war, man. Read up.
Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance.
All right. So basically, breaking down what you need to do, man, and pray. You know what I mean? Why? Because there's wickedness on high, man. Everything pushed is always evil.
Right.
Just like in the time this was written down, the Roman Empire, they wasn't righteous. They was evil too. So likewise, how he taught men to fight then, that's how we fight now, man. You fight with the word of God. Why? Because that's what is gonna be your instrument to win this war, man. For you to get a victory, that's the only thing you can have, man. You know what I mean? With the church, they're not trying to give you a victory. The mosque ain't trying to give you a victory. The mosque is in the world, man. The church is in the world. But there's one thing, if you apply it, if you live it, if you act it out and you protect yourself with this, you will get the victory, man. Which is the point that is being made. Let's get 1 Corinthians 13.
This is even cotton. This is even cotton.
All right, 1 Corinthians 13. Second.
Yeah.
No, it might be 2 Corinthians 13. Okay. All right, 2 Corinthians 13. Yeah, you start from verse 5.
Come on. Book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13, and verse 5. Examine yourself, whether ye be in the faith.
And there you go, man. With Paul, he said this over 2,000 years ago. And of course, it applies to today as well, man. Examine yourself, whether you be in the faith. Meaning what? No one knows better than you. If anyone knows if you're in the truth or you're not, it will obviously take you. You are the best person to know if you're in the truth or you're not. And with Paul, it goes, examine yourself, whether you be in the faith, meaning just look at yourself, man. See if you're in this or not, man.
Right.
And that's something that, you know what I mean? Of course, individually, everyone would need to look at. You know what I mean? Am I really about this? Do I really live this? Or really something I just act out when I like them?
Correct.
Do I use this just for my sake and then every other time I'm in the world? And that's what with Paul is breaking down to these men right now. He goes, examine yourself, man. Just look at yourself and see if you're in the faith. See if you're really about this, man. Why? Because no one knows better than you. I mean, you could act righteous around me, but you know what you do in your time, man.
Right.
That's why Paul said, examine yourself, man. Look, man, you gotta be honest with yourself and go, you know what, am I really in this? Am I pretending? Am I just, you know what I mean, acting? Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I really practicing what I preach? That's what the Bible says. Yeah, so much. Also, reader.
Khan. Prove your own selves.
Meaning what? What does the word approve mean? Test, man. Meaning you test yourself. You know what I mean? You find out if you really are or you're not, man. Approve yourself. Go. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if you examine yourself and you say, you know what, I'm not really about this. The next thing to do is what? To approve yourself. But you know what? I'm gonna be about this, man.
Right.
I've examined myself. You know what? I could do so much better. I'm going to approve myself. I'm going to camp. I'm gonna be in class. I'm gonna pay them tithes. Meaning what? You test yourself, man. But you know what? What the Lord wants me to do, I'm gonna do it, man. I've examined myself. I'm not right. Now I'm gonna make sure I am right.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure what that Bible says I'm living. You can do it. You can approve yourself and go, you know what? I'm gonna be about this. Reader.
Khan. Know ye not your own selves?
And listen, that's what I said. Know ye not your own self. Meaning what? You don't know yourself. I mean, you can lie to me all you like, but there's someone you can never lie to, and it's yourself. You know what I mean? Like what? Like you don't know yourself. You within yourself can't look and go, you know what? I'm a hypocrite. I'm teaching one thing and doing something else. Meaning, if anyone knows, it's you. And that's why you need to examine yourself and go, you know what? I need some serious change. Man. I want to be what is in that Bible. You know what? I'm going to approve myself, man, and be about that book. Reader.
Khan. Know ye not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates.
And there you go, man. If you believe in this, you know that with Christ, He's in you. So why sin and why lie to yourself, and then think that with Christ He's in you? You're a reprobate, man. A reprobate is someone that is void of wisdom, is dumb, and it would take a reprobate to not live this life, and some reason believe that with Christ He's with me. You know what I mean? The Lord is with me, and you've never done nothing that the Lord wanted you to do, man.
Right.
That is a reprobate. And Paul break it down to him and go, listen, if you think that, with Christ, He's with you, and you don't do any of this, then you're a reprobate. You're someone that's just backwards. For Christ to be with you, you need to do what He says. And that's the point that is being made. Reader.
Khan. But I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates.
So now with Paul, he's spoke to them. Now he's brought it back to himself. Go, well, listen, as for us, we're not reprobates.
Right.
We're people that live this. You mean we came and taught you? We're not reprobates. We're people that we live this. So you know what I mean? You like examine yourself, but as for me and the men that are with me, we're about this, man. We live this. Reader.
Khan. For now I pray to God that ye do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but that ye should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates.
Yeah, okay, so now what's it saying? Mean that he hopes that you do good, man. You mean not because you're trying to prove yourself unto us, like you mean, look at me, saying do it because it's evil. I mean, don't do it because it's evil. Don't act. Don't try to get a approval of somebody. Don't do it because it's evil, man. Don't do it because it's wrong. But don't be active. You mean be a person that lives it, and that's why in the UPK, you mean we don't care about your acting. We care about what you do. Like in many classes you watch, what does General Muhammad say? We don't care about what you want to do. We care about what you're doing, man.
Right.
So if you know, I'm gonna do this, no one cares about it. People care about what is being done, man, and that's what matters. And likewise, here he's saying, listen, don't act in front of us to get approved. Don't do sin. Why? Because it's evil, man. And that's really what it should be, man. Don't be an actor. Be someone that lives it, man. Listen, I don't care if you're shy and quiet or whatever. If you live this, then listen, you are good to go, man.
Right.
Don't be an actor. You be a person that lives it. Why? Because that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Don't try and be the loudest person. Just be someone that lives it, man. If you're loud and you live it, so be it. If you're shy and you live it, so be it. But the point being is live this, man. Read on.
For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth.
And there, man, if you're in here and you're living and you're not living right, you can't do nothing against the truth. You're not hurting us because we live it. But guess what? When you leave, that helps the truth. That is for the truth, man. When you mean when it comes out what that individual's been doing, that edifies the truth, man. That's for the truth. But you can't do nothing against the truth. Why? Because if you do something, listen, that's between you and the Lord. And you know what I mean? The Lord may give someone another chance, or the Lord may make him leave. But you can't do nothing against this. This stands, man. Following the laws, I mean, obeying the Most High, that stands. You can't do anything against that. But one day when you get judged, that's for the truth, man. We're gonna see that and go, you see, that's why you can't be acting, man.
Right.
That's why you can't be no hypocrite. Because look what happens here, and that is for the truth. That edifies us with what happens to you, man. Read on.
For we are glad when we are weak, and ye are strong.
Yeah, man. So that part's going into something else. Any more questions? And Netherlands, you got any questions you would like to ask?
Allah, sir, I'm too upset.
Well, right, most time correct. All right then. Okay. All right then. Let's okay. Let's get first Corinthians 13, and we'll start from verse 1.
The book of 1 Corinthians 13 and 1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
All right. So you mean in the class and online? How would you break this down? If you could read it one more time.
Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
Okay. I'll give a minute and then, of course, we will break it down. Right?
Slack, yes, sir, if I could.
Yep.
Is it saying he speaks with the tongues of men, so he can speak many different languages, or he knows like he's wise in the world, but he has not charity, so he doesn't have brother. I'm not sure what the angels bit means per se. But it says he doesn't have charity, so he doesn't have brotherhood. So he might be wise in the world, but he has no brotherhood. He's become a sounding brass. So it's like, is he like he's boasting himself, or he's boasting himself for something because he's wise in the world, but he doesn't have brotherhood. It's just loud noise.
You're right. Let's get that hand. That's the point. All right. So, okay, when it says the tongues of angels, the point he's making is he knows many languages. He's a very eloquent, educated man. That's the point of it. You know what I mean? There's no angel language. The point being made is that he knows many languages.
Cool.
He's a very eloquent, educated man. We're saying he doesn't have any a charity. He has a tinkling. What's the word? A tinkling cymbal, meaning something that you don't understand. And listen, when you're at camp, you don't want to become tinkling brass.
Right.
You don't want to become something that you got the mic and no one understands it. Because, why? Because you got a brotherhood. You're not relatable. You're just eyeballs just waffling on and they're like, I don't know what it's talking about. While you're trying to show how smart you are and you know this and you know that, no one don't understand. Big point. Now, if you have a brotherhood, you know the people that walk by a camp, you know how they live.
Right.
You know what they go through every day. And your speaking will be about that, man. Why? You got brotherhood. You know, well, listen, I love them so much. When I'm at camp, I'm going to speak to their life, man. I'm going to say things that reach them. I'm not under my, show how smart I am. Let's get revelations, 18 and this and, you know what I mean? I know this and that. Like, that doesn't help nobody, man. But that brotherhood you got, that's what edifies, man. That a brotherhood you have, that's what's going to reach that audience out there. That even the speaking you have, you wrote it to reach their life, man. You wrote it knowing what they're going through every day, and you want to talk about that. It's not written just to show how smart you are. It's written out of love for them, man. Read us.
Come on. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing.
There you go, man. So with Paul, he was a gifted man, had many gifts, understood many prophecies in the Bible. But he's saying, listen, if I don't have that brotherhood, I'm nothing, man. If I can't just get on the level of loving blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, none of that doesn't mean anything, man.
Right.
And that's something, you know what I mean, you always want to have that. Yeah, I mean, UPK, we learn many things, but always focus on the basics, man. When you're at camp, always focus on the love of them. What can I say that's going to reach them in and change their life, man? You say it's not about the prophecies. It's not about all the deep stuff. It's about what can save that black man's life, man. When I'm at camp, what can I say that will make him stop and listen, man? And that's what he's talking about. Read on.
Come on. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing.
There you go. If you read that one more time.
Go another one, Khan. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing.
Meaning what? You can do many great acts, But if you don't love them people, it doesn't mean anything, man. Which is heavy. I'm not saying why. With them, the church, they feed the homeless, but they don't love. But guess what? Those people they feed, they hate them.
Right.
Just because you can do many good works, if you don't love it, if you don't love them, then it's nothing, man. Even the mosques, you know what I mean? They feed them the homeless, but they hate them people, man. But,
Sorry, but isn't love an action? So they are doing the action of love is an emotion, if you know what I mean.
okay, but now here's the thing. When they get ed, they're not doing it out of love for them. They're doing it to be seen. It's like now, for example, if the church went around now and they was feeding the homeless, they don't care about the homeless. They care about who's going to be there, who's recording, who's watching. The goal ain't the homeless. It's just, you know what I mean, how they're seen. Now, it's a good thing, but they don't do it out of love. There's more of them. Yeah, you look, you know what I mean, with them, with the BBC, they're gonna be there, and that's why they're doing it. They're not doing it out of these people need to eat. They're hungry. The real goal is, well, listen, we're gonna be seen. My church is gonna get recognized. But Ariana,
It's done out of vanity. It's done out of vanity.
that's an excellent way. The easy way is it's done out of vanity. It's done to be seen. Because they don't love them people. And we poured up, he's saying, listen, I can give my garments to the homeless. I mean, I can do all those things. But if I don't love those people, it's vain. You know what I mean? I could sell everything I got and help them and do so many things. But if I don't love them, then guess what? That's nothing, man. Read that.
Calm. Charity suffereth long and is kind.
And listen, when it comes to a brotherhood, it suffereth long, man. Meaning, you gotta be patient. People are going to annoy you, piss you off. But listen, it suffereth long, man. You bear with them people, you help them, they get checked, you do it again. It suffereth long. And that's how you know, with the church, they don't love no one because they don't suffer long with nobody. You know what I mean? In the church, what are you taught? Leave that woman. When if you love someone, you suffer long, man.
Yeah.
As soon as that person gets on your nerves, well, it seems like God wants you to depart, man. They don't make you happy. So you know, you need to find that person that does. They don't suffer long, man.
No.
But in the Bible, real love suffereth long. You're gonna be at camp for 6 years, see that same face and wonder why he's not here. And guess what? You're gonna be there next week, hoping that he comes in, man.
Right.
Real brotherhood suffereth long. You gotta have patience, man. And you have some Mario?
Oh, really? I was just gonna say, could you use that when you're debating Christian? Because there's this Cushite that started at our work, and he's an Orthodox Christian, and they don't. So I was trying to tell him a reasoning because he was trash talking the King James version as opposed to the Bible version that. I don't know if it's Schofield or what they read.
Oh yeah.
The Cushites read is the Ethiopian, and he was saying that the reason they don't believe in the King James version is because they know King James was a black man, but he was a Hamite that stabbed them in the back. So I was saying I didn't get his reasoning, but that was his point he was making. That the Orthodox Christians know that King James was a black man, but he wasn't
An Israelite, saying.
an Israelite. He was an African.
Well, there's no evidence saying that he's a African, but there is information that he was an Israelite. So that is information. So there's nothing they can say. You know what I mean? But they know that he was a black man in that sense.
But going back to your points, like the other one, they're not long suffering. They won't suffer long. because he was out of the debate and he just got off and he didn't want to hear it. Could you use that?
Not here because man, he's African, I mean, so it's all about us in here. We love each other. We suffer.
No, but I mean when you're debating them, trying to prove your point.
So okay, now here's the thing: if it's one of us, yes. If it's a heathen, no. I don't get into it with any other nation. I see it as waste time. Like, listen, my job is to get someone in here. I'm not gonna debate with you if I can't get you in here. So I'm doing all that talking, all that precepts and research, just for you to go, okay, yeah, that's true. Nah, listen, if I do all that, I want you in these chairs, man. So I can't go through all that. Just you go, you know what, you're right. And then you can't even come in here anyway.
So we just leave them to the kingdom because they are going to get it one day. They are going to understand.
Absolutely, man. In the kingdom, he'll understand all things, but right now, I wouldn't burn my time with him. Like, if I'm gonna burn all the energy, at least potentially there's something that I could get out of it. Then how am I going? You know what? You're right. And guess what? It can't even come in this place anyway.
I was more rebuking him, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Now, listen. Now, what I said is not a law. So if you want to do it, that is totally fine. That's me personally.
I just enjoy going in on it.
That's fair enough. If that's what you like, do it. You know what I mean? I would never ever say no. Is that?
No, because I know about King James and he's at work on a break trying to tell me that King James is a Hamite. And that was just like, something I couldn't stomach.
I know he was a Jew that like him. You could let it go, yeah. But yeah, again, it's not a law, it's not a must. Is that me? I don't know. You mean I would never say I've been doing it for a long time, just that you know what I mean? After a while, not saying you get burnt out, but after a while, you just want to get to the point, you know what I mean?
Right.
Back in the day, I would debate anybody. Now, you know what I mean? I know that everyone, and if I feel like to, it might get something, but that's it, man. You know what I mean? But again, it's not a law. That's totally up to you, right? Read on.
Charity envieth not.
And that's another thing, man. When it comes to brotherhood, it doesn't envy. There's no envy when people really love each other, man. When people really love each other, envy isn't there, man.
Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up.
And there you go. I'll break it down. So, a charity vaunteth not itself. What does the word vaunt mean? If anyone knows.
Is that like to boast?
There you go, man. It doesn't boast itself. You're not walking around looking down on people like, well, look at me, man. You know what I mean? If you really love someone, you wouldn't boast against them. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Read
Con. Doth not behave itself unseemly.
And there you go. Doesn't behave itself unseemly. What does unseemly mean? Not right.
Right.
If you love someone, you don't act in a way that's not right. You love that person, you respect them, you deal with them in a rightful way, man. And if you don't, then really you don't love that person. That's why you're acting unseemly. That's why you're talking to them in the wrong way, abusing them, using them, because really you don't love that person. Read that.
Seeketh not her own.
And seeketh not her own, man. What? Not seeking your own glory. I mean, it's all about you. It's all about you, man. And of course, in the world, there's many people like that. It's all about them, man. And the reason why they like that is because they don't know how to love. It's got to be all about them. They're always right. It's all about them. I mean, everything must go their way. And love doesn't work like that, man. sometimes out of love, even though going your way is the best, you make it go their way, man. You know what? And this week, go on, man. Even though I wouldn't usually do it, you know what? You know what I mean? It is up to you, man. It can't be all about you. You're always right. Things must go your way. Nah, man. That's not love. Where everything just your way, your way, your way. Nah, man. The world is bigger than you. And sometimes, even out of love, you go, you know what? Yeah, man, you got it, man. I mean, you got people out there, if you don't agree with them, they're vexed with you. If you don't see things their way in the world, they are vexed with you. Like as if you must agree with everything the same, man. You know what I mean? Every opinion, you must agree, and you can't like it. Why? Because people like that don't know how to love, and it's all about them. Whereas in the Bible, it says if you love someone, you don't act like that. Read up.
Calm. Is not easily provoked.
And it's not easily provoked, meaning what? Not easy to get angry, man. Some people always vex in a heartbeat, man. Why? Because really you don't love that person. You got no long suffering in you. Right. It's all about how you feel and you want to express yourself, and you don't know how to interact with people, man. Reader.
Thinketh no evil.
Mm-hmm.
Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth.
And there, man, real brotherhood, it doesn't rejoice in iniquity, man. If you love me and you believe we are in this, you don't sin. Why? Because you don't want the Lord to take it out on me, man. Remember this, we are a body right here. And when you sin, you affect everyone, man. It's not just you. We are a body, and you don't rejoice in sin, but you know it might harm us, man. The Lord may make someone else pay for what I've done. That's why you don't rejoice in iniquity. Like, nah, listen, man. If I sin, I could harm these brothers, man. These sisters, their kids. If I do something wrong, why? Because I'm a part of the body, and I'm hindering the body with my sin. That's why you don't rejoice in iniquity. Read on.
Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things.
Yeah, man. When it comes to real brotherhood, it endureth all things, man. Let me tell you something. I've endured some stuff, man. You know what I mean? I don't know how I'm alive, you know what I mean? But we do it, man. Why? Because of the UPK, we know how to love, man. So many people out there talking about black love, they don't know what it is, man. Real black love is in the UPK, and we exercise it and live it every day, man.
That's right.
So that's the class. I'm gonna hand it over to Priest and Officer of Inti Ariana. The announcements.
What? We are the ISUPK, started off 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister: when a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties which are commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 and 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, upcoming holy convocations,
top of it, we couldn't know more. No, we'll let that pass. It's like,
Check the bulletin board in the hallway for updates. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, you must start to wear all black: boot, shirt, pants, headband, scarf.
and with that,
And with that, I Mariam. Yep. One's courtesy salute to teacher.
Men of Israel,
I Mariam. I Mariam Shabbat. I Mariam Barak. Yehovah Shem Yoshai.
Yehovah Shem Yahushai, Barakah.
Yam Yamata.
Sa.
One courtesy salute to the sisters. Yehovah Shemai Ladah, Bashim Yoshai, Man of Israel, Salakia. Man of Israel, Amadium Shabbat, Amadium Barak, Yehovah Shemai Ladah, Yad Yamata. Class dismissed.
A good to see everyone in Manchester and Netherlands. I'm gonna say it right. And Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Oh, that's right. Netherlands.
Cancel.
Alright. I'm working on it still, man. Trust me.